Hello again everyone, welcome back to Daily Downshift. My name is Orest. Today we are discussing the reopening of the Bowling Green, Kentucky plant. If you recall, they shut down just over a month ago on March 20th, having produced just around 2,700 Corvette C8s. This pandemic and the resulting lockdown has been extremely lengthy. It has definitely not been easy for anybody, and something like this is quite simply unprecedented. So I'm happy to be presenting this small bit of positivity. The state of Kentucky looks like they are ready to resume some operations and begin phase 1 of opening their economy again. May 11th is the first date of opening businesses specifically involved in construction, professional services, auto dealerships, and yes, finally manufacturing, which the GM plant falls under. May 11th doesn't seem too far out, but we have to remember that it will probably not be at least until May 18th that the first vehicles will begin rolling out. Therefore, it's very likely that it may even take months to resume operations to 100% capacity. Now, another reason why it may not be until May 18th or later is because of retraining. Interestingly enough, in a recent GM memo, there have been some discussions about retraining exercises for assembly plant workers. This is essentially just so they can get back up to speed because, as I've already mentioned, the plant has been closed for over a month now. However, I am a little bit curious whether this has to do with the actual time off, or maybe they've noticed that some of the C8s that were pumped out prior to the plant closing had some noticeable issues. For example, misaligned panels like we have on our C8. And if you haven't seen that video, then I would highly recommend checking it out so that you can see it for yourself. Either way, retraining employees is never a bad idea, especially when you're producing a car that has so much to live up to. Interestingly enough, in the same memo, some GM employees, including managers, will be heading back to the plant prior to May 11th just so they can begin the preparation process and really be on top of things once the majority of employees return to the assembly line. So what it looks like to me is that they are really committed to not only getting back on track, but doing it in an efficient and safe manner. Finally, the largest impediment to the May 11th reopening date is that other states are not following suit with opening their factories. Specifically, the vendors and suppliers have to reopen so that GM can physically build these cars. For example, the C8's LT2 engine is assembled in the state of New York. Another example is the transmission, which is made by Tremec, and I'm quite certain that those are actually built in Mexico. So it turns out that there are much more moving parts to the entire situation. They could very well have a decent amount of supplies just sitting around in the factory, just ready to go, but their production numbers will ultimately still be affected. It is also very important to remember that the loosening of the pandemic restrictions are contingent on businesses being able to meet social distancing, masking, and sanitizing standards, which means the factory will have to abide by all of these conditions. GM has already gone ahead and stated that the safety protocols that they will be implementing will include health and temperature screening, heavy workplace cleaning, and social distancing strategies. UAW has been and will be very involved in the process. Now, we are part of the lucky few that already have our vehicle, but we're very excited for those of you who have been waiting so patiently for your orders. I promise that you will not be disappointed. Take it from me, the Corvette is definitely a car worth waiting for. Anyways guys, that's going to do it for me. I really hope that we don't hit a second wave of cases and we can return to some semblance of normal living. But let me know what you guys think. Will the first Corvette start coming out around May 18th, or are we talking much later? Let me know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed this video, please give us a like and consider subscribing. As always, thank you so much for watching and stay safe.